Alrighty, people. How we doing? How we feeling? You already know what time it was. Grading your Dynasty team, reviewing your Dynasty team, doing what we do and doing it best. Trying to get you to the best position possible during the season with your Dynasty team. Trying to get that championship money, or maybe just trying to get bragging rights. But we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining. We're here. We're grading people, and kind of just don't want to waste any more time. Kind of get straight into it. We do as many people reviews as we want, but make sure you drop a like. Say what's up if you are in the chat. There are a couple things I do want to talk about though as well, because I know we have some people getting signed to new teams and maybe some new information coming out on some of these players. I know a lot of people are probably wondering about what are we thinking about this? How are we feeling about this? The first guy that I do want to talk about here is let me just pull this up here. Tyler Boyd. Now, not a significant signing here, but it's just something that I do want to take into account. Right? You can see here, Tyler Boyd signs with the Tennessee Titans on a one-year deal. Not too crazy, not too big. He goes back with his old offensive coordinator, who is now the head coach for the Tennessee Titans. So that is very interesting here. Are they going to run 3 wide receiver sets most of the time? Who knows? Maybe that is the case. Maybe not. Tyler Boyd right now is not somebody that's going to significantly impact his stock going into the 2024 season. So for me, great signing. Let's see what happens in season. Obviously, the biggest one here is Rashee Rice, Richie Rich. And when I saw this morning, I said, oh no. I said, absolutely not. Because if there is video evidence, we say this all the time, if there's video evidence on a player committing some sort of crime and that goes to air in the NFL, they usually give them a punishment. We've already seen the video evidence for the car crash, car racing, whatever the case may be. Now he's under investigation for hitting a photographer. And if that is there's actual evidence of Rashee Rice hitting that photographer, guaranteed 3 games, right? Like at minimum, I feel like it's 3 games. We saw Alvin Kamara get 3 games, 4 games this past year, and there was clear video evidence. Some people say, I don't know if it's him, or you can't really tell it's him, or it's just another black guy in dreads, or whatever the case may be. I actually don't care. Whether they knew it was him or not, they suspended him for 4 games. I think if there is video evidence that does come out for Rashee Rice at any point in time throughout this offseason leading up into the season, Rashee Rice will be suspended for 4 games on this incident alone, not including the other incident. Maybe they pile them together. Maybe he gets suspended for 4 games because of the club incident and because of the car incident. Who knows? Like maybe they give him back-to-back incidents, and here's 8 games. No, thank you very much. If that is the case, I am projecting. If that is the case where he gets penalized and suspended for both of these games, hypothetically up to 8 games, not saying Rashee Rice is dead. I think he's dead for this year in fantasy. Now, he can take over in the second half of the season, but that gives Xavier Worthy time to solidify himself. That gives you Hollywood Brown time to solidify himself in this offense with Patrick Mahomes. Not saying that his career is dead. Not saying that he's never going to be a fantasy relevant wide receiver. I think we would have to significantly lower our expectations for Rashee Rice in 2024 specifically. I still believe he could be the number, I would say the number 1 guy, 1A, or wide receiver 1A, or wide receiver B, whatever the case may be, however way you want to look at it. That's kind of what I'm looking for, or expecting as we go into this season. And the sun's coming out here and it's making my face probably blown out significantly here. Let me just turn down my light for a second. But you get what I'm saying, right? You get my thought process there when it comes down to Rashee Rice and what's going to happen. I will say this. If he plays this full season, you're probably getting a massive steal when it comes down to trying to buy him a Dynasty. If he plays this season, you're probably going to get a really good, and he doesn't get suspended, this season, you're going to get a really good return, because that means he's not missing any time in preseason. He's not missing any time in training camp. He's not missing time continuing to grow his connection with Patrick Mahomes, and he's solidifying his role there with Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown. So the way I'm looking at it, if he doesn't get suspended, you got a really good deal. And if you did trade for him and he does get suspended, sorry, if he doesn't get suspended, you get a good deal. But if he doesn't get suspended, excuse me, if he does get suspended, that's confusing. Let's start from the top. If you traded for Rashee Rice and he got suspended, and he gets suspended in season, you're probably regretting it, right? And we just don't know what that looks like specifically for this year. It's going to feel like a dead asset this year, depending on how long he gets suspended for. But if you got Rashee Rice and he does not get suspended in season or at any point in time, you're going to feel like you got a significant deal and someone, once again, that's going to be building his rapport and relationship with Patrick Mahomes there. So yeah, I can see, Rashee Rice, Ian said, Cole said, Rashee Price is down even further. Exactly, right? TZ Vulture saying Xavier, where they might need to do an indefinite for his own good before this ruins his career. Look, there's so many ways this can really pan out. And I think that's what's really interesting when it does come down to Rashee Rice and how we're going to be viewing him going into this offseason. You're going to see two sides of the spectrum. And for me, I'm going to say it's a hold right now. If you have Rashee Rice, I'm not buying him, and I'm not because of the risk that you could potentially get. Now, are you willing to send a middle of the second round right now where Rashee Rice is valued at and he gets suspended for 8 games, or would you rather have, specifically in the 2024 draft, an Xavier Legette, right? A Troy Franklin, a Jalen Polk, a Ricky Pearsall. That he is valued right now as a mid-second round. Let's see where he is valued right now currently on Keep Trade Cut and the Flock Fantasy website before, and this will be the last thing I'll do until we get into this Dynasty team reviews. Let me pull this up here. Okay. All right, so Rashee Rice right now in the community, he's wide receiver 37, according to today on Keep Trade Cut. 37. That is crazy. And let's just go on the trade calculator. Let's say if you were to buy Rashee Rice right now, what would that price be? According to the trade calculator, okay. They're saying the 201, so maybe the 202, like Liam just said, is a fair trade. That's a Trey Benson. That's a Jonathan Brooks. That's a Michael Penix Jr. Once again, that could be a Ricky Pearsall in somebody's eyes. Are you willing to take that chance at the 202? And once again, if that video does come out, that 202 price, if you haven't done your rookie drafts at the moment, is going to be even cheaper, even lower. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thought process when it comes down to Rashee Rice. And I don't know how to navigate it. I'm literally telling you my thoughts and what I will be doing right now. If I'm a Rashee Rice owner, obviously you're holding, you're not selling. If you still believe in him. But if you believe that you can get the 202 for him, and you really like a Jonathan Brooks, a Trey Benson, a Michael Penix Jr. that you can sit on for 3 to 4 years, or Ricky Pearsall, however way you want to navigate that, sure, go for it. For me right now, I feel like maybe you should wait. But hey, everyone's different. That's why this is really hard. I woke up to this news, so I'm really still trying to process it. Maybe I'm on the 202 side in 24 hours from now. But people are saying the 202. Jeremy said, hell no, 202 all day. So, hey, we'll see. What's happening at WG? What's up? I am Solo Dolo. If you haven't been with us, Zach is sick. He'll be out this week, but he'll be with us hopefully next week. We'll keep you updated on that. Just giving you a little update on Rashee Rice and what our thought process is when it does come down to Rashee Rice. Let's go to the one last thing here. Let's go to the Flock Fantasy website and see where he is valued. Wide receiver 28. I wonder if that has reflected right now. I mean, I haven't changed my rankings. Wide receiver 26 was recent overall. Okay. So he's still wide receiver 26, and I'm not necessarily sure how fast the community has updated, but according to the community right now, he's wide receiver 28 and most likely potentially falling further than that. So keep that in mind, guys. But we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. We're going to be grading Dynasty teams today, and I'll get this all set up here for you guys. But make sure you drop a like. Our like goal is 50. I see everyone in the chat. Say what's up if you're in the chat. If you haven't said what's up already, But I appreciate each and every one of you. Zach is not here with us. I'm going solo dolo for this week. I got some good content coming out tonight as well, or tomorrow morning for you guys, which is awesome. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Once again, our flight goal is 50. We got 58 people watching. Hopefully we can get to that without any problems here. But the first guy we're grading Dynasty teams, or we're reviewing his Dynasty team, is going to be AT Luck. At Luck here. Let me know if you are in the chat with us as I'm getting this all set up for you. If you have any other questions or anything that you want to say before we start reviewing this team, and if you do want to get your team reviewed as well, all you have to do is go to flockfantasy.com/land, use our promo code LAND, select the Mother Flocker tier, make sure you link your account, and then send a message in the team reviews or in the fantasy hotline setup, and we'll get you all set up there, and you can get your team reviewed hopefully within the next couple of days if you select as well. Skip free trial. You want to make sure you want to skip that free trial when you are signing up here with us for the first time, so you can automatically get your team reviewed as soon as possible and you don't have to wait that 7 days. So once again, use our promo code LAND, go to flockfantasy.com/land, select the Mother Flocker tier, and that is the best way that you can support us here. And make sure you link your account as well. Okay, what's happening, Albert? Jeremy? I think I saw, what's this? Adam said, okay, that's Adam. Adam Luck, how you doing, brother? I'm assuming that's you. AT Luck. Okay, cool. That's awesome. That is awesome. 769. Oh, man. All right, let's break this down here. Let's get this context going. Dynasty team reviews here, breaking it down. It's a league format, 12-team PPR, non-SuperFlex, start 10, 6-point passing touchdowns. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. You got 3 flex. You can start up to 5 wide receivers in this league, which is really interesting and awesome. So it's a start 10. It says context, home league with IRL buddies going to year 4. Some are more serious or casual than others. We just had our rookie draft. Everyone at least a little bit engaged, but most of the offseason is dead for trade activities. 2 to 4 teams who are really invested, active, in seeking out trades. 2 to 3 teams that are basically just set their lineups every week. Yeah, that's a tough one. Everyone else is somewhere in the middle. Some won't respond for weeks or at all about trades, and most of the pretty are hesitant to trade still in this range. Typically having to overpay to get deals done in this league, as everyone has the my player is way more valuable than they actually are because they're not on my team mindset. Yeah, that sucks. Example, Derrick Henry owner has a team in shambles, wouldn't move him for less than a 24 first. Eckler is not much cheaper. Yeah, that's a tough one. When you're in the league like this, it really makes things significantly difficult because, you know, I was in a league like this with some of our real buddies, and they don't really know the value. They just set their lineup, and then they see a guy that is a big name, and it's like, he's a big value. That's Derrick Henry. I don't know if you know that. Like, yeah, we know that's Derrick Henry, but for fantasy, he hasn't been good. Okay, so like, you need to come back down to earth. Yeah, I get that. I get what you're saying. Alvin Kamara owner's also a bad team, wants 2 early 24 seconds for him, or Alvin Kamara plus Chino for the 105. I mean, I'll take the 105. But we'll wait to see. Travis Kelce went for 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and Cole Kmet midseason during his batch stretch. Oh my goodness. You see, once again, big names get crazy value in these leagues. Kirk Cousins and Kyler were both sold for a single first a couple years ago on the downfall. May doesn't even get a conversation starter. May doesn't get even. May Plus doesn't even get the conversation starter for Kyler/Love on a team in total rebuild, etc. Right. Okay, that makes sense. He says, been out of the playoffs for the last 2 years, decided to tear it all down and rebuild after 1 year. Thinking this may be the final year we make the playoff push. Looking for some thoughts on trades. Quarterbacks are not valued as high as they should be in SuperFlex 6-point passing touchdown league, but they're probably because half of the league doesn't understand values. Right. I was interested in Lamb McConkey for Herbert stack, and because I like him. Sorry, I'm bad with reading today. And always, this guy needs a second quarterback and was very interested in Levis. I would be okay in moving Levis, but personally would love to keep him in the Titans and UK fan. Okay, let me know any ideas in guys that may have for trade and consolidation. All right. Very interesting league. Herbie fully loaded here. Let's go to power rankings. Herbie fully loaded. All right, let's break it down here. You already did your draft, which is great as well. So starting off the quarterback position, Justin Herbert. By the way, before I even break that down, 99, 96, 89. There's a big tier. There's a big drop off here in the top 5 teams. So that's very interesting. And you're in the top 2 teams here. Justin Herbert, Drake May, Bo Nix, Deshaun Watson, Will Levis. So I think this quarterback room is great. We can definitely get some value somewhere. And I know you said you're probably trying to sell Will Levis to some of these guys, and you're not going to get the right value. But maybe that's the sacrifice we could potentially have here in a league that's probably never going to readjust their values potentially. Running backs is Jonathan Brooks, David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, Kendrick Miller, Marshawn Lloyd. I love this running back room. Jonathan Brooks most likely going to instantly go into a full workload if he is healthy in week 1. I'm not scared of the Rashad Penny signing. I do believe Chuba Hubbard and or Miles Sanders potentially could be off this team by the start of week 1. We'll wait and see what happens. Or maybe even Rashad Penny, I'll be honest with you. I love David Montgomery's value. Javonte Williams. Man, I've been going back and forth early in the offseason. Before the NFL draft, I was saying I'm scared about this Javonte Williams guy. After the NFL draft, makes me really believe that they're going to start utilizing him in really creative ways. And I might be creating a video on Javonte Williams here soon. So I do like this Javonte Williams a pick on this team, I guess you can say. And then Marshawn Lloyd. I also like Marshawn Lloyd and his outlook on this team and how they're going to be utilizing him, and how Josh Jacobs is probably only going to have 1 year on this contract if he does miss some time like we've seen in the past. We'll wait and see. At the wide receiver room, you can start up to 5 wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake London, Jordan Addison, Deontay Johnson, Jameson Williams, Shakira, Quentin Johnson, Malachi Corley. I mean, this is a phenomenal wide receiver room here. And look, there are players that you can talk up here. I'm coming out with the video calls. So you're telling me there's a second chance players that I'm giving second chances to, and 2 of these names are on that list. That is Jameson Williams and Quentin Johnston. Both of these guys are really good, have really good opportunities going into the 2024 season where they can finally break out. I know a lot of people don't love Quentin Johnson. I'm a big Quentin Johnson believer coming in. And I love Ladd McConkey, and Ladd McConkey is significantly better wide receiver than Quentin Johnston. But I think there's still opportunity for Quentin, and the same thing with Jameson Williams, who hasn't gotten that full opportunity we've seen in his career so far. So this is a wide receiver room that is really strong, that has good depth, and is in really good situation as well here. Once again, Chase, Marvin, Drake, Addison, Deontay, those are your top 5 guys, with guys that have the upside. And I bought guys that I love, like Malachi Corley, who I believe is instantly going to be the wide receiver 2 here over Mike Williams in the New York Jets offense there. He's a yards after the catch, and that's what you want in your fantasy team. So I can talk all these guys up, which I absolutely love here. So all these wide receivers you're staying. And at the tight end position, Sam Laporta, Chig Okonkwo, Daniel Bellinger, Eric, all the list kind of goes on there. Sam Laporta, you have the number 1 tight end in fantasy. So you're just wanting to know what trades that you can do, maybe some scenarios that you can kind of bring up, and maybe how can you improve this team. Let's look at Nathan's team here. Lamar, Hurts, Purdy, James Pacheco, A.J. Brown, DJ T, Xavier, Hollywood. He has 2 Chiefs players. I mean, he really falls off at the wide receiver position, but the running back position, he's strongest at the quarterback. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm going through it. Going through my head. Kyler. May doesn't even get in the conversation starter for love on a team in a total rebuild. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That is a real tough one there, Adam. Okay. Some guys that I'm willing to trade, and look, I'm interested to know how we can start this off here as well because of how. Let me just pull this away. Sorry. Of how we can even see what's going to be happening. His logic is, why would I want a quarterback in New England? That's someone that just doesn't know what's happening. That is genuinely someone that has absolutely no idea. I think my biggest thing here, I'm not really trying to push at the running. The biggest push here is the quarterback position, which I think you are aware. I love Drake May, I love Bo Nix. But you really want to solidify that QB2 that's going to get you that home running, hitting foundational like fantasy points on a week-to-week basis. Drake May and Bo Nix both can be these guys. Same thing. I wouldn't say same thing with Deshaun Watson and Will Levis. I think the hope and expectation is that Deshaun Watson's on that list of somebody, give them a second chance, because the first couple weeks of Deshaun Watson, he was like a top 5, or the first 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, he was like a top 10 quarterback. And then he got injured. He was out for the season. So there's hope for Deshaun. Just how much are you willing to risk there? Okay. JJ McCarthy, Kirk Cousins. Adam, who are the teams that are willing to trade that are a little bit more like open to have a better understanding of value? Because I think I would rather just hit there instead of like going through a process of saying, oh, hey, maybe you should go to the process here, who has Jordan Love and Kyler Murray, but these are the guys that don't want to trade these players. I don't want to waste your time and my time going through some of these players or some of these teams here, but I get and understand where you're coming from when it comes down to some of these guys. Like, I would go for a Kirk Cousins in a win now situation. I would go for a Trevor Lawrence in a win now situation. And maybe what you're at in this moment is best, because you have Deshaun Watson, Geno Smith coming in with a new offensive coordinator, who still has these great weapons coming out of Washington, where we saw Michael Penix succeed with these three wide receivers. Should you go out and get a Geno Smith, another guy that's on my list? I don't want to give you all the players on hey, give them a second chance and what I'm kind of thinking about here, but Geno Smith is on that list of guys that I'm giving a second chance because they didn't draft the quarterback. They're still believing in him. They got a new offensive coordinator. They got a new head coach. T. Blair maybe as well. Reserve with trades, but doesn't have much. Let's see. Where's this guy? Did I see him? This guy. Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith. Okay, yeah, this is a Geno Smith owner. I can't believe we've been out of the playoffs. In the reserve has Ladd and need a quarterback, wants to compete this year. Saquon, Joe Mixon, Ladd, Debo, Mike, Cooper, Amari, Jahan, Travis. This is the guy that traded for Travis Kelce and sending away his 2 firsts for Travis Kelce. Respectfully, this guy's not competing this year. But yes, if he he's not competing this year if he doesn't get a quarterback. So you need to sell him. Yeah, went all in last year. Like, you need to sell him on the fact that, look, you're getting a quarterback to compete this year, and I'm going to give you some great value here, but I need something in return, and that's going to be Ladd McConkey. And if you want to continue to build off that, sure, sell him Will Levis. Give him Will Levis, and personally, I would do Will Levis and like a second for Ladd McConkey. And let's start writing this down here. So, trade packages. Will Levis plus maybe, look, you don't have to give a second, but once again, this is a starting point for Ladd McConkey. Okay, just make sure I organize this really fast. Okay, cool. All right. So he wants a quarterback here, and you have. I mean, ask him who he really loves. Obviously, you don't want to give up Justin Herbert. Yeah, I mean, like that puts you in like solidifying that wide receiver room. But like you're still giving away a quarterback, which once again you can do that. His team one looks like it could be a reasonable guy. Can you get a Brock Purdy? Like he looks like he knows what he's doing. Can you get a Brock Purdy there? He didn't want Watson. His team has to have balls. Okay, that's fair. Look, that's fair. A lot of people don't want Deshaun Watson here. He doesn't want Drake Way, I'm assuming. A lot of people think Sam Darnold's going to be the starter coming into the Minnesota Vikings. Should we go Sam Darnold? I thought you can sell that. Look, I'm just going to give you some options here. And if you get them done, sure. I think my biggest thing here is I think you're set at the running back position. You're set at the wide receiver and tight end. It's just the quarterback position that you can make stronger even though you don't necessarily have to, because you have the depth to kind of play around for one of these guys that can potentially be taking off. Okay. He says, I inquired about getting him a quarterback from Nate. He said he may shop Hurts and Lamar, but will open it to the whole league. Okay, well, if you can get Lamar and Jalen Hurts, let's do that. I mean, let's talk about Lamar and Hurts and what you could potentially be getting for, or maybe sending for these guys, right? What does he need? I mean, this guy can use another quarterback. I mean, another wide receiver. Man, this is a tough one. Because he probably doesn't want... I'm not trying to give up Sam Laporta here. And I'm not going to give a Jamar Chase or Marvin Harrison Jr., but maybe London could be somebody that can be in play here. But the thing is, like it's going to be a lot, right? Okay, Drake London plus 25 first for Hurts. Like, that's the type of deal that you have to get done for him. And if he's not wanting to, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. So you lose one of these wide receivers, but you still have the depth with Quentin Johnston, Malachi Corley, Jameson Williams here, and getting a quarterback, and that sets you up with Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts. Or you can switch it up and then say, hey, here's Drake London, Drake and Drake, right? Drake London and Drake May. I wonder what that looks like on Keep Trade Cut there. I mean, we just saw Jalen Hurts go for the 101 straight up. That's an even trade. That is an even trade. I'm willing to do that personally. Solidify that quarterback room, and you're still good because you have Chase, Marvin, Addison, Deontay with Quincy and Malachi Corley. And if you can get one of those trades done to get the Lab McConkeys that you wanted, I would do that. He said, Jason offered me CD for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brooks. Giving away Marvin Harrison Jr. and sending Brooks. So you have Jamar Chase, Drake London. I think I'd rather keep. It sounds crazy. It's just like it really hurts your running back. It doesn't hurt your running back room significantly, but Jonathan Brooks will be a starter on this team. That's why I believe it's going to be a bit difficult for you to do that. So I declined, but he keeps asking what he needs to add for the CD for Martin Harrison and Brooks. Okay. So I'm really interested in what CD for Harrison and Brooks. Like, I don't really love that trade for you. See? Like, that's why. So I want the rookies, just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. Yeah. I don't think it's a great trade. And if you want to get somebody in return, get a running back in return. But he doesn't have a running back that you want. And his name is JSN, so he probably loves Jackson Smith and Jigba. Unless you want to continue to build off of this wide receiver room, he's not going to give away Rome, Olave. Like, I think the best one that you could probably get is Christian Watson or Xavier Leggett. But, like, once again, that makes your running back room weaker. So I would personally hold. But if you wanted to do something like that, you can counter. I'll put it on the books here. So CD plus Watson, or who was the other guy? Watson or Xavier Leggett. That's a first round wide receiver, by the way. For Martin Harrison Jr. and Brooks. Not in love with that trade. But look, I'm giving out all of my secrets here. Watson's another guy. Give him a second chance. I definitely don't want to do that. Just got to make sure I was not tripping or valuing the rookies. No, I agree. You're not tripping here. Let's look at some other opportunities. Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson. He has a Monra. Can you get a Dak Prescott there? Man, that's a... He's clearly a Dak Prescott fan. Jared Goff, Kenny Pickett, CD Baker. Excuse me. Yeah, man. The guys that I would instantly tell you to target, which you already went, is Jordan Love and Kyler Murray. Benson, Swift, Wright. This guy's not competing. He has the wide receivers, but the right. I mean, look, maybe he could compete. I mean, he could compete. This guy could compete, but I mean, compared to the league, 69th. Yeah, you see, I mean, you just have the starters. Let's go starters. Your second here. Brooks, Javonte, Drake. See, there's no way this guy's starting one quarterback, though. Like, he's starting Bryce Young. This is interesting, Adam. Because you gave me the context that some of these guys won't trade and it's going to be all-season trading. I think potentially the best thing to do... Well, even then, I was going to say the best thing to do is wait until one of these quarterbacks are not playing well in the season. But you just had Travis Kelce go for 2 first. And that was on his bad stint, like you said. During his bad stretch. I don't see how a quarterback is gonna get you that value there in this league. I would say your best bet is Nathan. Genuinely, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. How do you feel about these trades when it comes down to someone like sending a Drake London plus a first, or Drake London for Drake May? This one specifically, Drake London plus Drake May for Jalen Hurts. You lose at the wide receiver position, you gain significantly at the quarterback, but that's okay because you still have the depth at the wide receiver position. Now, you could potentially ask for somebody in return as just like a bonus, like, hey, let me get, like, you're getting Drake and Drake May. Can I get somebody who you believe in? I don't know. Can you get a Hollywood Brown? Can you get I personally would say Jacoby Myers. Once again, it doesn't move the needle too much. But just so you can get another wide receiver in return, we saw Jacoby Myers, have a decent stretch this past year. But with a new offensive coordinator, with a new quarterback, and whoever that's going to be in Gardner Minshew and or Aiden O'Connell, that might change a little bit. I'm trying to think. Can I send... man, this is tough. So Lamar, Jalen Hurts, and you have David Montgomery, so Jonathan Brooks, James Cook, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy. Yeah, man, this is just not ideal when it comes down to a league like this. It just makes it difficult to trade. It makes it significantly difficult to trade. Because I would do this with my home league and say, hey, what do you think about this? And say, hey, man, I'm just going to wait until end season. And then when you wait until end season, because they want to, the argument is, I just want to see how they perform. I want to see how they play and then go for it. And then if you try to trade for them, it's like, oh, actually, I don't want him, or I just want an arm and a leg. I want your whole team if you want this player because he's doing so well at the moment. Jared Goff, Matthew Lewis, Baker Mayfield could be interesting. Here are quarterbacks I'll be targeting. Here's the quarterbacks I'll be targeting. Yeah, that's about how it goes. I mean, it's frustrating. It's one of the most frustrating things, which makes it significantly difficult to trade. But here's the quarterbacks. If you wanted to get more depth, because maybe you're not comfortable with your starting quarterbacks. Maybe you don't feel comfortable with Drake May and Bo Nix, but you have Deshaun Watson and Will Levis that you know are going to be starters. Like Bo Nix, let's say Bo Nix and Drake May don't start. Then you have Deshaun Watson and Will Levis. At least you have starting quarterbacks as your QB2. But I'm not willing to trade. So look, you don't have to give an arm and a leg for these guys. Daniel Jones. But once again, what's the point of you trading for these guys, right? Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield, if you have the depth, right? Geno Smith. What about Aaron Rodgers, who I would say is a phenomenal player to come out and get this year? That's a high scoring points per game type of quarterback. And there was one more that I wanted to say, Matthew Stafford. And if you can get these guys, on the low, so I can 100% flip Knicks for Jalen Reed, but it feels like I'm giving up a cornerback value for no reason. Yeah, I completely agree. I think keeping Bo Nix and getting another wide receiver, you are giving up on the value, and you don't necessarily have to, because what people are scared of in your league, for example, that guy that says, why would I want a quarterback from New England? You're going to want a quarterback from New England when he's balling out, and then he's going to come back to you. So it's probably best that you sell them in season for players that you can still get in return, like of value that they may not love. Like if Drake May is a top 12 quarterback, can you sell him? Well, you probably don't want to sell him, but hypothetically, can you sell him and maybe pivot to another quarterback that people are saying, well, I don't really like this guy. Can you pivot to Drake May and get a Brock Purdy if you wanted to? I don't know. Can you pivot to a Jalen Hurts and then give him more in return, or Drake May plus something to get Jalen Hurts, and then you tiered up at the quarterback position? I like Tua, Liam. But I mean, I was thinking that Tua is just too high up there when it comes down to fantasy points per game in this league, and that's his QB2 there. So I got next to the 205, traded Flowers for the 204 and the 205 when they were right to grab Brooks and Nix. I couldn't let them fall anymore. The Tua owner won't trade him. Yeah, I would say in season, like somebody that's good to trade for now. In season, trade for QBs. I would say, actually, all these guys are good to trade for now. Outside of, actually, all these like trade for QBs. Not in season, but when you can. And look, I know these names aren't exciting, but we've seen success, and they're going into newer situations. Matthew Stafford, phenomenal year this past year. Another year with Sean McVay, another year with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Hopefully he's going to be healthy. Aaron Rodgers coming off that Achilles tear. There's no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers would have finished as a top 12 quarterback this year with Garrett Wilson in this offense. The offensive line gets better. They get weapons in Malachi Corley, which you have, so you can pair that up and have another stack there, which could be exciting. Geno Smith, once again, I kind of mentioned. These guys, these names aren't high on people's radars because of their age, because of their situation, because of their injury history, because of how they performed last year. Or maybe they didn't perform because of their injuries. So, once again, do you have to get these quarterbacks? Probably not, because you have these guys, but it's not going to hurt you if you start stacking on quarterbacks and then you know one of these guys is the way to go, and then go from there. But I don't necessarily believe trying to get another running back here is your best bet. Trying to get another wide receiver. You can get another wide receiver, like you said, a Jaden Reed. Let's see this Jaden Reed owner. Jaden Reed owner, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones. And you know you can send Bo Nix for Jaden Reed right now. Can you get, like, what is this guy valuing? What is, like, who is he valued? Does he value Devon? Does he value Rashad? I mean, let's write it down. Bo Nix. For Reed. Jaden Reed. My question is, can you get something else in return? Right? And maybe you can throw somebody else in there for him. Like, just to get this done. Because I'm willing to, you know what? In this scenario, in this league, you are giving up on value. But if I can get somebody in return, whether that is a White, a Rashad White, to add more depth to your running back position. Even though I kind of just said, what's the point of getting another running back? But hey, if you can get it done, why not? Where's Jaden Reed at? I doubt you can do a Devonta Smith. I doubt you can do a Brandon. I don't know. I don't want Brandon Cooks. I mean, even like. I mean, no, this is just not right. If I were to tell you in a SuperFlex league right now that if you submitted a trade for Jaden Reed and Rashad White and you told me you got Bo Nix, I said I want Bo Nix every day. So this is not a smart trade. I was trying to rationalize it and say, you know what, maybe you can get something in return, but it's just not smart. It's not smart. That's not something I would tell you to do, whether it's a trade, or in any trade format, to be honest with you. Let me know if you have any other questions, Adam. I know this is a bit of a tougher review here, because your team is pretty stacked already, and I know you're just trying to consolidate, but you don't want to lose value. But at the same time, you're going to lose value in a league like this. I'm just thinking like Drake May and Will Levis for a quarterback. What's the community saying on that? And that Jordan Love owner, you know, this is kind of what I'm thinking. Adam, I was like, you know what? Maybe you bring them both together. Oh, here we go. You know, you guys know each other? I know stuff. I love that you boys know each other and you had no idea that this was happening. Are you the CD? He's JSN in this league. Okay, we got somebody in the league here. We're going straight for it. All right, JSN. Yeah, you said that CD. I'll talk it through. CD Lamb and Watson trade. I don't love it. I know you said you want a CD Lamb. Sorry, CD Lamb for Martin Harrison Jr. and Jonathan Brooks. I think he's just giving up too much value. I'll be honest with you. And I said the only way like I would remotely even think about it, if you would do it for like Watson or Leggett, but even then, I'm not excited about it. Like you said, I'm down to do it for Watson, but like I had to hear it as like a look. You could do it if you want, but I don't love it. So I was kind of advising him not to do it, but I just put it there as a reference when I do send this to him in the fantasy hotline. But I don't love that trade. Yeah, you see, I don't want Watson. I think it's just a standoff there. Jackson Smith, Christian Watson. I can't do the get though. Who would you want, Adam? Out of curiosity, if you were to get this trade done, who would you want? Name any player. Like don't say Josh Allen, but you know, say a reasonable player. Because Jason or Brian Thomas Jr. Would you do that? Would you give any of those two guys up in return? You have to think about it. You're getting Martin Harrison Jr. You're getting a guy that's went 4th overall in the NFL draft, and Jonathan Brooks, who was the first running back off the board. You need to give him something in return. A good asset in return. You can't do a 2-for-1 in this. I know CeeDee Lamb is up there, but Martin Harrison Jr., we're all projected to be just as good as CeeDee Lamb, and you're giving him Jonathan Brooks as well. So, or you're getting Jonathan Brooks as well there, JSN. So you have to give him something else in return. Because in reality, CeeDee Lamb and Martin Harrison Jr. are even. Let's not like bullshit around it. And it's crazy to say because he's a rookie wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 3, Martin Harrison Jr. Right? I mean, they're basically in the exact same tier. And Martin Harrison Jr. is already a top 5 wide receiver without hitting the field. And you're getting Jonathan Brooks? I think I need more. And Adam's right. It has to be somebody of a caliber that's not some of these lower tier wide receivers. So at the moment, he's saying Jason Brian Thomas Jr. Maybe he's thinking about it, maybe he's not. Anyways, I hope that helps, Adam. I hope you can get a deal done, even if it's a CD plus for JSN or Brian Thomas. I'll be happy for you to get that as well if you can get one of these guys. But this is a tough team, and this is a tough, not tough team. It's a great team. It's just a tough league to trade according to some of these things. I mean, look, you got your guy in here saying, "Hey, what's happening?" So once again, let me know if you have any other questions. Use your fantasy hotline. I'm really happy to answer. I'm really happy to answer any of these comments or these trade offers that do come in or that you do send, because it is a tough league. And if there's going to be a trade out there that somebody's willing to give up, and maybe you have to give up just that little bit, you know, I'm happy to help in any way, shape, or form. Once again, sorry it's not the best breakdown there, and I'll send this to you. Look. All right, I'll send that to you just then. I see you playing World of Warcraft as well. Not a World of Warcraft guy, but love it. But we appreciate you. I was like 5 minutes behind. Oh, JSN, the KP guy. Look what we said about CD and JSN and Brian Thomas. Let us know if you're willing to do that. Maybe get that trade done live. That'd be awesome. But I'll move on to the next guy here. Once again, if you want to get your team reviewed, all you have to do is sign up at the Flock Fantasy website, use your promo code LAND, and select the Mother Flocker tier. This is the best way to support what we're doing here, and you can get a lot of perks and a lot of our things when it does come down to it. You do get our fantasy hotline. You get our Dynasty team reviews, our 2024 rookie report, and so much more on there. That's tier rankings, positional rankings, fantasy hit rates, And for these first round quarterbacks, wide receivers, I mean, all positions, to be honest with you, great asset there that we have created for you guys when you do sign up using the fantasy hotline, or using our promo code LAND when you sign up using the Mother Flocker tier. But we'll go to the next team here, which is, I think it's Marty. Let me know if Marty's in the chat. Let me get his team up. And he said, I don't know if I can do that. That's tough. I mean, think about what I just said, man. I don't know if you heard what I said. Maybe go back and listen to it. I just said Marvin Harrison Jr. is basically CeeDee Lamb already. And it's crazy to say when you look at it on the fantasy community, he's wide receiver 3. Marvin Harrison is wide receiver 5, and he hasn't even stepped onto the NFL field. Look, CeeDee is proven, but our expectation for Marvin Harrison Jr. is Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. So at the moment, it feels like an even trade. He was going at the 102 in your rookie drafts. And you're getting Jonathan Brooks, who was the first running back off the board. So I know it's gonna feel tough because you feel like you believe in these players, but I think maybe that's something that you're gonna have to navigate. All right. Definitely consider it. Have a think. Talk it out a little bit more with your boy, with Adam, and then go from there. But we're gonna go to the next team here, Marty. Let me know if you're in the chat, Marty. If not, definitely use your fantasy hotline as I break down this context here. He says, "Hey, just looking for a team review. Have my Dynasty rookie draft this Saturday, and not sure what to do with my picks. Spent last season trying to trade away all the assets and acquire young wide receivers. Obviously, no depth at running back, but hoping I can move some pieces around and contend this year or next. Thank you for all the help in advance." So it's a 12 team, half PPR, half tied in premium. It's a start 8. Okay. Is it a start 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. It's one quarterback. So 2 wide receivers, 2 flex in a 1 quarterback league. Said I was hoping to take Bowers with the 103, but I'm not stoked on that landing spot. Not sure if I should try and trade back, or I should try and trade back with that pick. There are only a handful of teams willing to trade, and one team is absolutely dominating, and he's willing to trade, but a very good dynasty manager. Thanks again for all the help and really appreciate it. Update. Was able to trade the 103 Olave and the 203 for CeeDee, the 111. I mean, that's a phenomenal trade there. Well, have a look at this team. Team name Marty. It looks like he did his draft here already. Looks like he got Drake May, I'm assuming, in that first round. Or maybe in the end of the first. Who else did you get here? You got Trey Benson as well. You got Jermaine Burton, Jalen McMillan. Okay. All right, at the quarterback position, I mean, yeah, you do have a guy that's Thanos right now. Hurts, Bijan, Brees, Etienne, Devon. Oh my goodness. AJ Brown, Waddle. I mean, look, he feels like Thanos because of his tight ends and his running backs, but his wide receivers are not the best. But he has heavy hitters. In a start 8, by the way, Marty, when you're watching this, or if you are watching this, in a start 8, we want heavy hitters, guys that make impacts. And you did that trade for CeeDee Lamb, which is absolutely phenomenal. You can start to 4 wide receivers. So as I break this down here, Justin Herbert, already a foundational quarterback, a heavy hitter type guy that we're okay to have here with Drake May, just in case he goes down and Gardner Minshew. That's great. At the running back position, you can start 2 running backs, Trey Benson, Javonte Williams, and the list kind of falls off. Chase Brown, Jaleel McLaughlin. There's no heavy hitter running backs here, which is unfortunate. I guess you can say Trey Benson could be your heavy hitter running back in this league, but he is a rookie running back. We have to understand that. And is he going to get the opportunity with James Conner there in his first half of the season? We believe in the second half, but definitely in the first half of the season is interesting here. So the running back room is definitely something that I would be looking to try and fix in some way, in some shape or form. At the wide receiver room, you can start the 4 wide receivers: CeeDee Lamb, Puka, Michael Pittman, Jordan Addison. These are good wide receivers with the addition of Nico Collins, Christian Watson, and and the list kind of goes on there. I think your biggest question mark, in my opinion, is the tight end position is where you're struggling at here. And it's a 0.5 tight end premium. So not having a strong tight end is definitely going to be hurting you here. So I would just say needs are better running back group and tight end. You need a tight end. How about this? You need a tight end. Okay. Quarterback is great. Wide receiver is great. I'm not willing to do any of that or move any of those pieces. Let's have a look at some of these tight ends here, because in a 0.5 premium, you got to get somebody. I have to find somebody who has the ability. Well, you said Team 1 is willing to trade, which is Thanos, Sam Laporta, Dalton Kincaid with Evan Ingram. He has the monopoly here when it does come down to the tight end position. And if I can get my hands on a Dalton Kincaid, who I believe is going to take the next step, is somebody that I'm willing to trade for. But in a 0.5 tight end premium, that's going to be a bit tough here, especially in a 1 quarterback league, because that pushes it up. You were talking about getting Brock Bowers in a league like this. Which you really did draft me that you didn't get Brock Bowers. So I was hoping to take Brock with the 103, but I'm not stoked on the landing spot. Not sure if I should trade back. So obviously you were hoping to get some stuff and information, but you traded that 103 for CeeDee Lamb, so I think that worked out pretty well. Let's see here. I thought it tells you. So you had the 112, 203. Okay. Assuming that 203, you probably took Trey Benson there. Say something now. All right. So what can we do here? Who needs a quarterback? In 12-man league, maybe there's someone out there that needs a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Caleb Tua, Lamar Joe, Anthony Richardson. Everyone has a quarterback, which is a tough one. All right. I will say Dalton Kincaid is somebody I'm willing to target off the bat. And what can I get for Dalton Kincaid here? Or what can I give up for Dalton Kincaid? Or what I'm willing to give up for Dalton Kincaid? In a one quarterback star and a half tight end premium. Well, first thing that comes to mind is maybe like a Nico Collins. Nico Collins for Dalton Kincaid. He needs another wide receiver as well. I'm interested to see what this keep trade cut would say here. So like Nico, it's probably going to say you need to give. You probably need to give more, even without a tight end premium. Just a little bit more, So if I'm happy to give Nico. Honestly, I'm happy to give Nico up, and then Jaleel McLaughlin or Jalen McMillan. And I'm not a big Jalen McMillan fan, but if he's a Jalen McMillan believer, I'm happy to do that. Anyone that's small, right? For Dalton Kincaid. Who else did you have there? What about Nico Collins? What's his running backs looking like? His running backs are fine. He doesn't need another running back. He needs the wide receivers. So you might have to do a 2-for-1 there. I personally don't want to give up. Who's the other quarterbacks? Geno Smith. I think I'm okay with that. I'll say we do a Jaleel there. Look, if he wants another one, give him Gibson. Antonio Gibson for Dalton Kincaid there. I'm happy to do something like that. As well as, I'm pretty sure Jordan Addison might be of the same value, even in a premium. Okay, so not. But hey, maybe if he's valuing Jordan Addison like that over Nico, because Nico is wide receiver 22, Jordan Addison is not. I'm not trying to give up any of these higher guys, CD, Puka, or Michael Pittman. I'm trying to keep at least one of those guys, or all three of those guys, and then happy to trade away Jordan Addison, Nico Collins as my fourth flex option. As you are trying to build up here at that tight end position. At the running back position here, you can probably do the same thing with Nico Collins. And who can you get? In a league like this, in a team that I think you're going to be competing in, where's Derrick Henry at? Here we go, Derrick Henry. And do you have your seconds here? 25 second. Right off the bat there, I would do a 25 second for Derrick Henry. I would do a 25 second for Joe Mixon. I would also do that for someone. Let me just double check who else you have again. Latino He-Man, thank you for the super chat. I'll definitely get to it after this. I just want to make sure I'm focusing on this. All right, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you for that super chat, though. Alvin Kamara. Can I get a third? Give a third. And 25. I don't know why I'm blank. 25 third for Alvin Kamara. Gosh, why can't I spell Alvin? Alvin Kamara. Trying to think of some of these other guys here. I like Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara. I would do a third for Aaron Jones as well. 25 third. Third for Aaron Jones. I think that's a good trade as well. Just trying to find like these lower tier running backs that you don't have to spend too much time on and too much capital on. Even like James Conner. I'm not trying to get James Conner on. I'm not trying to do a third for James Conner, I'll be honest with you. I'll just rather wait until my guy gets something. This guy's team 12. I mean, look. Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Romeo Doubs. He doesn't have the best capital there and the best team to kind of lean into. I actually like the second for David Montgomery as well, to kind of really solidify getting another guy. I think David Montgomery is very undervalued. Very undervalued and overlooked when it does come down to his role over there with Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's going to continue to do what he's done this past year, and it's going to be, both of those guys are going to be fantasy relevant. I was thinking about Ramondre Stevenson. I just sold Ramondre Stevenson and I got a 25 second and a third in return, but I'm not sure if you want to be spending that. So I'll put him there. I put him there. So 25 second for Ramondre. And I guess you're going to be Ramondre Stevenson. I guess you're going to be competing, so that's most likely going to be a late first, or late second, excuse me, which I don't mind. So I kind of like a lot of these trades here when I'm thinking about the running back position. Marty, trying to just continue to build here. Once again, this is start 8. So you solidify that tight end position if you were to do a trade, something like a Dalton Kincaid. And if you can send Derrick Henry and if you can get Derrick Henry for a second, you have a stronger running back room, right? Justin Herbert, Trey Benson with Derrick Henry. And then you have your starting wide receivers in CD, Puka, Michael Pittman, Jordan Addison, obviously, or Nico Collins. You're probably left with Christian Watson, was still having opportunity. And then you get Dalton Kincaid that really solidifies that room. I know you said the best way to, the guy that's willing to trade is Team 1. But man, Team 1 is stacked at the running back position. And my goodness, especially in the start 8, he has the monopoly at the running back position when it comes down to it. So yeah, I think this is great. So exactly in the chat, what's happening? So yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. Just want to go through that again, make sure that I answered all the questions. Very handful teams willing to trade, absolutely dominant, and he's willing to trade by a very good dynasty manager. Thanks again for all the help. Hopefully that helps, Marty. I mean, I gave you a lot of options at the running back position. You're staying and holding at the wide receiver. You're staying and holding at the quarterback position. Quarterbacks aren't going to give you nowhere near as return in a one quarterback league. But the tight end and the running back room is something that I will love to improve on here. And I'll definitely send that to you in your fantasy hotline here. Shit. So definitely keep that in mind. But we appreciate you. And I'll answer that super chat here for Latino Heat in a second. It looks like Zach already answered that as well. But I will have a look at that. Just give me a second as I pull up the chat back. All right. Latino Heat, man, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Asking about what we should do with Rashee Rice. Honestly, man, yeah, that's a tough one. And Zach kind of mentioned that the best thing to do is hold. And Latino, definitely start at the top of our live stream where I kind of did break down my thought process on Rashee Rice and what I'm personally going to be doing. My expectations. I said this, and I'll kind of keep it really short in the Twitter version. If Rashee Rice is suspended, or if video evidence comes out of Rashee Rice for that altercation with the photographer at the nightclub, then I feel like he's most likely going to be suspended, no doubt, for 4 games. That's not even including what he's done in that car accident incident, right? And we saw the same thing last year with Alvin Kamara, where we got video evidence and people were saying, I'm not sure if it's Alvin Kamara or not, and he still got 4 games suspended. It was like, oh, it's just another black guy with dreads, right? So it's best to hold right now. I think if that video does come out and he's going to get suspended for the car incident and for the altercation, that could be 8 games. That's a big hypothetical, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm not understanding what that's going to look like. But once again, I recommend for you to go watch that back and early in the live stream, because honestly, man, I'm not saying his career is done. I'm just saying this year for fantasy, it could be chalked. It could just be chalked for this year in fantasy, depending on how long he gets suspended. But maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit too much there. That's awesome. Great show, like always. Appreciate you, fellas. Hey, we appreciate you, Latino Heat. Guys, if you want to get your Dynasty team review, all you have to do is use our promo code. Okay, use our promo code LAND. Sign up at the Motherflocker. Sign up going to the Flock Fantasy website and selecting the Motherflocker tier. Not only do you get our 2024 rookie report, but you get a Dynasty team review like you're seeing here today. Once you sign up, you give us all that information, you link your account, and you'll be on the list just like we've seen all these other people here. So I appreciate each and every one of you. When you do sign up, once again, use the promo code LAND, get 30% off, and understand where that is going to be happening. So like I said, I still think he plays at some point. I think so as well. Like and I said this earlier. We just need to be more cautious moving forward. I think so as well. I think he does play at some point. I'm worried and concerned if that video evidence does come out. Here's what I'm confident. If Rice plays at some point this year, he will end up being a great buy. Sure. I think so as well. The question is, how many games? Like, is he still a great buy? I imagine he also be a third. Look, I looked it up earlier. After this latest news, he's still the 202. I looked it up earlier. I'm going to keep trade cut. He's wide receiver 34, and he's valued currently right now, as of today, as the as valued as a 202. Remember, Al Kamara was on camera, literally destroying a fool. But now though, Rashee Rice has two incidents. That's why, in my mind, like somebody said, I mean, I said earlier, would you be surprised? Alvin Kamara got 3 games. Alvin Kamara got 3 games for working some dude on camera and destroying some dude, pause, on camera, and then he has an incident, like the car incident, that people was gonna get. I think now, once again, if that video evidence does come out of him hitting, like with that altercation with that photographer, that's a minimum 4 games or 3 to 4 games, not including what's happening in that car incident. I think he will be suspended, but now the biggest question is how long, and that makes that like half of the season report now look too like offlandish now, or like too off the board. You're saying even if it's 10 game suspension, the buy is worth it, right? For like a long-term perspective, sure. Because I think in this year, if he is suspended, he's not going to get you the return that you want, unless like he just come back and he's just instantly the guy. I think that gives me more concern, because Xavier Worthy is going to get more opportunities and more rapport with Patrick Mahomes. So same as Hollywood Brown. But look, anything can happen. I'm really interested to talk it out, and when we go back on live stream, what people are actually thinking about. But let's get into this next team review and what that looks like. What that look like? All right, the next team that we are reviewing here is going to be Seanzie. Let me know if you're in the chat, Sean. Thank you so much for the support, man. We appreciate you. Nah, you can definitely talk. I'm happy to talk. So let's say he's suspended 8 to 10 games. If you're buying him for the 210 or the 303 price will adjust, he will be more valuable than that this time next year. Sure. I guess like the bigger question is now, like, if he does, like, let's say he gets suspended in like a month. Like, let's say we know as soon as possible. Let's say if he were to get suspended right now, we knew that for 8 games or 10 games, 8 to 10 games. I think some people would then question, like, because his value is going to drop. And if you're saying for the 210, people, I'm not saying people will, but I'm saying there's going to be conversations. I'm not saying I would, but I think there's going to be conversation of people saying, whoa, should I get Roman Wilson? Can I get Troy Franklin? I know that sounds crazy, but I think that's how people are going to react. People are going to react and say, well, I can get a Blake Horn at the 210, who's a 2nd round pick. I don't know. I'm not saying that that I would do that. I'm just saying people are going to be reacting that way. So I made it stupid. Not early. I got it in a minute. I made it stupid. If it was 10 games, I could see people selling him for lower than a third, in my opinion. Gosh, lower than a third? That's wild. If you mean, I personally wouldn't do it. But yes, like, people in the fantasy community could go crazy. Remember, we'll be watching catch seasons. That's wrong. That's wrong. I don't think he will go less than. I don't think he'll go less than a third. I think latest, if he does get that, but yeah, that's extreme. That's 10 games though. If it's 10 games less than a third, sure. 10 games is like extreme. I don't know, lower than a third. That is pretty wild. I think he would be minimum late second. League winner Rashee Rice. Latino Heat, let me ask you this. If I were to tell you right now, Rashee Rice is suspended for 10 games and you have Rashee Rice, but I tell you right now, his minimum value is going to drop to the 208. That could potentially be an Adonai Mitchell. That could potentially be a Blake Corum. That could potentially be sometimes we see Xavier Leggett fall to the 208. Are you taking that or are you taking Rashee Rice? Any of those names. That could be a Blake Corum. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think some of these names people get excited for because of the recency bias and because of their capital and because of what could potentially be happening. Rather hold for the proven talent here. Yeah, I get it. Imagine the opposite side of the coin. What if, I'm not saying it will happen, what if Hollywood is injured and Xavier struggles early on? Imagine the momentum switching to Rice midseason. Yeah, I get it. Playing devil's advocate. I think 100%. And that other side of the coin is, but if they can do it without Rashee, that's also really scary. And I think that's the biggest thing. Because that was the biggest thing. Like, that was the same conversation we were essentially having with Alvin Kamara. And that was only a 3-game suspension. We was like, man, if Kendre Miller can be healthy for the first 3 games and he can solidify himself in that offense, that can happen. And you're playing the other side where he got injured, right? Like, Miller got injured and he didn't solidify himself. So, like, and Alvin Kamara came back and was the guy. So I see both perspectives. Obviously, that was a shorter stint and, like, longer time for him to get healthy. He was coming off of an injury in college as well. So, but they know they can do that with Rashee. You know. Yeah, we'll wait and see. I'll say right now, I kind of mentioned it earlier. If that video evidence comes out, I think his value will drop and we can see a significant suspension where it can be up to 8 games with both of his incidents. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one to navigate, but as long as he doesn't end up like Ray Rice. He said, we don't know how legit the assault report is. If it's much more serious, we have to adjust, but it's a stronghold right now on Rice. Yeah. I would say right now, like, if someone is willing to give, like, right now, genuinely, it may sound crazy. If I have Rashee Rice and you're telling me you give me the 206 and that's Xavier Leggett, I think I'm taking the Xavier Leggett over Rice. Maybe that's my personal bias on Xavier, and I like his situation. Like, because that's not even Xavier. Like, I got Ricky Pearsall at the 206 yesterday. Get what I'm saying? Like, you taking Ricky Pearsall or Xavier Leggett or I don't know. It's just tough. It's tough. And that's first round talent. Both of those guys. Yeah, unless you can get an early second, I agree. So he could just pay the guy off, sweep under the rug. Yeah, but like, that's what happens. You wait months and then the video comes out. The video comes out in the very last moment, Trent, and then the players are effed. And it's like, you know what? I guess I'm going to be suspended. So I don't know what I would do if that was in my inbox. Because if that is true, like, I think that's what happens. Right now, if he gets suspended for 4 games, that's where his value is going to be. And that if you're telling me you haven't done your rookie drafts and someone throws that in your inbox, that's first round talent wide receiver. So anyways, appreciate you guys. Happy for you guys to continue talking. Definitely want to go into this next team review. Once again, Sean, if you are with us here, we're going to break down this team with you, or your team. But you guys are more than welcome to continue to chat there with Zach as I'm breaking this down here for Sean. I just had him up here. Okay, here goes. It says, hey guys, I hope you're doing well and appreciate all the work. Looking forward to a roster review heading into my rookie draft. This is year 2 of the rebuild. 12-team SuperFlex. I sold Lamar, CMC, and Devontae Adams last offseason for 8 firsts and more capital because my roster was too heavy. Wait, you sold Lamar Jackson, CMC, and Devontae Adams last season for 8 first-round picks? I wonder where those first round. I mean, I'm assuming they were just spread out through a couple of years. A year later, I had a good crew of a young wide receiver, but still had some holes. I have the 104, 105, 208, and a few more late picks. Thought I'll take main neighbors who will be available and focus on top running backs in 2025, as I have 2 more 25 first round next year. Have any thoughts on the draft strategy or other deals I can make during the season? Thanks. Okay. Looks like he already did his draft. Let's just see. No, he didn't. Okay, awesome. Hopefully, I was trying to. Oh, Inception. What's his team name, Sean? He has Bryce Young. The Dirty Dozen, it looks like, is his team name. Okay, I'm so confused at what's happening here. So that's the old one. Give me a second. Let me just organize this bad boy. Okay. Here we go. The Dirty Dozen, which doesn't look like that's his team name. Bryce Young, where are you? Bryce Young, Sam Howe. Okay, let's just double check this. Bryce Young, Kenneth Walker, Deontay Foreman, Zay Flowers, Rashee Rice. Okay, that's his team. Just also want to keep up with the chat. I'm so interested in the conversation as well. Remember when I showed Kamar's video, I thought Alvin was done for a year. The initial shock, I was super wrong. But I can saying value around 202, so around 206 on a buy low. Second's right, the tree struggle early last year. Rashee Rice would be high anticipated. Yeah, look, Ethan, according to Keep Trade Cut right now, in this moment, if you were to look it up, when I started this live stream, it was a 202. I would say this: if I'm right, if someone's willing to give me the 202 for Rashee Rice right now, I'm doing it. If someone's willing to give me the 206 for Rashee Rice, I'm doing it. Now, it questions when you get to the 208 because now you could talk about Adonai Mitchell in our rankings. You talk about Blake Corum in our rankings. You talk about Troy Franklin or Jalen Polk. That's a different conversation. Like, are you willing to hold, or are you willing to just reset it with one of these new wide receivers or running backs that got decent capital? But look, when more information comes out, it's either going to hurt him or help him. Because if that video doesn't come out, he's wide receiver 34 right now, at value of the 202. I think that is a huge sell. Because you're still going to get a first round talent. Once again, Michael Penix Jr., Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, all these type of talents at the 202. But if you're telling me at the 206 and he's suspended for maybe 6 games to 8 games, that's a toss up. Anyways, looking at this team once again, let's look at see how many starters there are. Start 9, it looks like. And this is a super flex league. So 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2, 4, 6, 1 tight end. That's 7. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 7, and 2 flex. All right. So you can start up to 4 wide receivers in this league. He has the 104, and this is so exciting because this is the first league we actually have some contact or some draft picks with. And he has 225 first, 226 first, right, okay. This is exciting because I haven't done scenarios with picks in a minute because everyone keeps submitting their stuff with this. Anyways, all right, Bryce Young, Sam Howell are the quarterbacks here with Sam Darnold. Obviously, potentially getting a quarterback at the 104, 105, which will definitely break down. The running back position is just non-existent. And then you can start up to you can start up to 4 wide receivers: Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Jalen Reed, Rashee Rice, Josh Downs, Quentin Johnson. It's funny, Rashee Rice on this league. Rashee. Look, I'm really interested in how you feel, Sean, if you are here with us. And if not, please watch the start of the live stream and right before we graded your team on the breakdown of this Rashee Rice incident. Because I said it before, if you can get the 202 for Rashee Rice right now in your league, you currently have the 208, I'm willing to do that. And I'll even put it on this whiteboard. Rashee Rice. And look, you don't have to. For the 202, I would say latest to the 206, I'm personally willing to do. I'm taking that for sure, in my opinion. The 202, Rashee Rice for the 202 or to the 206. I'm happy to do that, because you're going to get first round talent there. You can get a starting running back. You can get a starting quarterback. Like, I'll even put names to it, right? Michael Penix. That's another quarterback you can build with. That could be Keon Coleman, who I don't like, but he's valued in that range. Keon Coleman. What I said. Brooks. Benson. Rick Pearsall. And then Leggett. I don't know, guys. You're telling me if Rashee Rice could go in that range, are you not taking any one of these guys? Even with suspension? I mean, look, Michael Penix is a long play, but that's a first-round quarterback. You get what I'm saying? I don't know, child. You let me know. That's wild. All right, at the tight end position, Cole Kmet, Jonnu Smith, Joe Everett. Let's not waste any time here, and go straight into these this breakdown here of these picks. Okay. I just want to pull up. I closed my rankings. I just want to pull them up again before I start to tell you where I would go here at the 104. So this is stick and pick scenario, right? At the 104, for me, it will be Malik Neighbors. At the 105, it will be Drake May or JJ McCarthy. McCarthy. At the 208, which is still great value here, we've seen the likes of Jalen Poco. We've also seen, we've seen Adonai Mitchell go there at times. We've seen Blake Corum. Right? Who else have we seen there at the 208? Keon Coleman, you're not going to get. I would say Troy Franklin if you wanted to go that high, depending on how high you have him. Troy Franklin at the 307, BPA, and BPA. Okay. I like this scenario here. You know, sticking with Malik Neighbors, Drake May, and getting some sort of great capital in the turnaround there when we think about it. So that would leave you with Bryce Young, Drake May, or JJ McCarthy. Still no running backs. Maybe still no running backs. And then you have these wide receivers with Jordan Addison, Malik Neighbors, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Rashee Rice, Josh Downs. Something I would do off the rip is sell high candidates. It's not really sell highs, but like just what can you get for them? Let me put sell high players. Like for example, Josh Downs for any 24-second round pick. I think I want to reset that clock. I'd rather have a Jalen Polk. I would rather have a Jermaine Burton, a Malachi Corley, a Troy Franklin, a Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell. If someone is valuing Josh Downs for any 24 second, we're willing to do that. I'm really excited for that. Even if it's like, and would I do that for 2 early thirds? If you're telling me I get the 301 and the 303, that could be Javon Baker, Marshawn Lloyd, Jaden Wright. I actually would do that. I would do that, but it has to be for early thirds in a package, right? That's 301 to the 30 to the 303 latest, because that's Javon Baker, Jalen Wright, Marshawn Lloyd. I mean, I got Marshawn Lloyd at the 302 the other day. I got Jalen Wright at the 301 yesterday. I got Javon Baker at the 303. If I can get both of those guys, I'm happy to do that for someone like a Josh Downs. But obviously, you get as much value as you possibly can when it does come down to trading away Josh Downs for any of these thirds. Like obviously, if someone's going to give me the 205 or the 206 or the 207, I'm happy to do that over those 2 thirds personally. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think you did mention talking about potentially trading back, but you also have great capital. A few more late picks, so I'll go make/neighbors who will be available and focus on getting a top running back in 25, as I have 2 more 25 first next year. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy for you to just potentially hold here. And I think sticking and picking is probably your best bet. Malik Neighbors, Drake May. Let's say at the 208, you get Jalen Polk. Let's put some names to this 307, right? 307, 401. And I'll even go based off of our draft. Obviously, every draft is different. I'll go based off of our latest draft, because the 307 is pretty fun. Sometimes that's Ray Davis. I'll put these names here because I think it's important to understand who you could potentially be getting. You saw Sanders there, Ja'Tavion Sanders, and like maybe in these third rounds you can get a running back, right? Like Estime there, Bucky Irving went there. At the 401, I think it's great value for like a Theo Johnson, Tyrone Tracy. That's where I got, you see Eric All is also very interesting. Eric All. I'm not a big Will Shipley guy, personally. This is Charlie. But you go, I'm seeing Kamani Vidal. I think it's a good value. Kamani went the 3rd in our last draft. Kamani Vidal here, and I think that can also fall into like these guys can fall into here as well. Actually, all these guys can fall into here. Theo Johnson, Tyrone Tracy, Kamani Vidal. I personally really like Spencer Rattler. If you just want to take a flyer, if you want to take a flyer on one of these late round quarterbacks, I think it'll be really great. And this really changes your starting lineup. Malik Neighbors. Let's say you go Blake Corum at the 208. You get Ray Davis. Let's say you go Theo Johnson. I messed that up there. Ray Davis, Blake Horn, Drake May, Malik Neighbors. Oh my goodness, what just happened? Freaking idiot. Blake Horn, Ray Davis, Theo Johnson, and let's just say you go Tyrone Tracy. That instantly changes. I mean, now you have Bryce Young, Drake May. In the running back position, you have Ray Davis, Tyrone Tracy, who look probably is not going to be your starters, but they could help you. The wide receiver position, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Rashee Rice, Josh Downs, with Malik Neighbors there, with Troy Franklin, with no other running backs there at the 208. You can't, Blake Horn. Sorry, I said Blake Horn. I don't know why he didn't highlight. And that really changes things. My goodness, man. That really changes this team here. And if you can get this deal done, I'm willing to move. These are guys that I'm willing to move here. And then sell high. If you can, you know, like I think these are great scenarios here. If the price is right, if that really comes out to the way that it pans out for you, I think this would be a perfect opportunity. Keep doing deception on myself. A perfect opportunity for you to really build. And once again, you have 225 first that you say we're going to build running backs in, so you don't have to force running backs. Maybe those guys are the wide receivers that you wanted to build in the fourth or third and fourth round. You also have a 25 second, and you have 125 sixth first round pick. So like you still are, you know, a couple years out to compete, but there's opportunity, especially with Quentin Johnston, I would say as well. Players I'm willing to sell high in season if there is a window. Gosh, it's not much. Probably just be Brandon Cooks. I want to keep Quentin unless you can get good value for him right now, but I doubt it. But hopefully that helps, man. Sean, I know you're probably not with us, but use your fantasy hotline. I think your best bet here is to stick and pick. Yeah, I don't think you're trading him back here for any value unless you want to trade back to like the 106 and let them make it. And maybe can you get what, and another second? You know, I'll throw some trade scenarios like trade back. Let's just do scenario 2 here. Scenario 2 is trade back. And what you can do is like 104 for the 106 and like the 106. Who has the 106 in this league? Let's have a look. 108, 106. He has a 204. Would I do that? 106 to 204? I would do the 106 because I still get a quarterback that I like. You still get a quarterback that you like at the 105 and a wide receiver that you like at the 106. Or if you can go 2 back-to-back quarterbacks. I personally would do that. The 104 for the 106 and the 204. Right? And that 204 range really puts you in a really good position. Because that 104 can either be Xavier Legette, Ricky Pearsall. That could be Michael Penix Jr. You know, that is something that can be really exciting for you at the 104 for the 106 and the 204, and you're still getting the same outcome depending on the way that you view that there. I think that's really the only place I would go because you have the 105. I'm not trying to trade back from the 105 to the 106. There's really no point. I think 104 moving back to the 105 to the 106, excuse me, is probably your best bet there. But yeah, Sean, let me know if you have any other questions. I don't think you're here with us, but I'll definitely send this to you in your fantasy hotline. I think the best bet for you is to stick and pick because, once again, like you kind of mentioned yourself, you are building. You are building for the future. You have first round capitals in multiple leagues. And just use your fantasy hotline. If you do have any other questions, we'll definitely be able to help you and answer any of those other questions there. League's going off here. Oh, Zach was trading with stuff less than 24 hours. We do have another draft tomorrow. It's a Foxtrot League, if I'm not mistaken. Or sorry, Echo League, if I'm not mistaken, for tomorrow. But that's really exciting. But we appreciate you guys. I think that's it for today. That's all I got. I was going to do another one, but I did run out of time after all that talking. I have to record a couple of videos for you guys today. Sorry if you are... Matthew, are you White Hawk? Let me know if you're White Hawk. Because if you're White Hawk and if you've been waiting here, man, I feel bad. And maybe I can squeeze you in really fast. But I want to give you the best team review I possibly can and give you all the time. Okay, you're not White Hawk, okay? No stress, Matthew. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone that's been watching. Make sure you drop a like on the way out here, guys. Okay? Our like goal was 50. We got 35 likes here. So we didn't hit the like goal, but that's okay. We appreciate you. Gav, he says, I'm White Hawk. You're White Hawk? I feel bad not doing the review. What time is it here? I'm trying to see if I can squeeze you in. I do have a lot of stuff going on today. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's do it for you. I'll do it for you, brother. And we can do another team review. All right, Gav. I got you, brother. I'll break it down for you. I'll look at this context for you. Just give me a second as I'm just pulling up this context. All right. Dynasty team reviews here. White Hawk 6. All right. All right, here we go. Looking for a review for my team post. Won the championship last and blew up the roster to begin. He said I traded Kamara and Prescott to get the 203 round. The 203, Justin Jefferson for the 103, Tyreek Hill for the 110, picked by swapping out the 112. Okay. My league is SuperFlex with no tight end premium. All right, so what? Jaden Daniels is your team. So you already did your rookie draft. Let me close all these guys out. Just gotta find your team name, brother. It's not White Hawk, is it? Am I tripping here? Did I not see him? Okay, he's just team 12. Okay. All right, White Hawk, let's break it down once again. Not too much context is except all the trades there. SuperFlex, no tight end premium. Let me just read this one more time. I traded Kamara and Prescott to get the 203 in a SuperFlex league. Don't necessarily love that pick. I think Prescott could have potentially value more. But maybe in this draft it's not that's tough. Justin Jefferson. You traded Justin Jefferson for the 103. Okay. I'm assuming that got you Jaden Daniels. Tyreek Hill for the 110. I think you could have gotten more for Justin Jefferson, more than just the 103. That's what I would have said. I think you could have gotten significantly more. Justin Jefferson's going for multiple firsts. Just trying to be honest and transparent that you definitely could have gotten more when it does come down to Justin Jefferson. But let's have a look at this team. Jaden Daniels, 2 attacks. Sam how Sam Darnold and Jordan Travis there. The running back, the tight end position, excuse me, I think it's decent. Jane Daniels and Tua, kind of re-saying that quarterback room. Obviously, trading away Justin Jefferson, but that's all right. At the running back position there, Trey Benson, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, Big O Roscoe, J.K. Dobbins. So it looks like you get Trey Benson in this draft here with Tyrone Tracy, which is interesting. You can lock up that Giants back room, which is kind of exciting. So it's a decent running back room with not too much of depth there. Let's see how many starting wide receivers you do have in this league. So 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 flex. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, 8, 9, 10. So it's a start 10 with 3 wide receivers in a flex. So you can start up to 4 wide receivers in this league. Xavier Worthy, Jaden Reed, Roman Wilson, Jahan Dodson, Jermaine Burton. Did I say 6? I think I said 6, right? 4 wide receivers. I'm tripping right now. It's 4 wide receivers. So Worthy, Reed, Roman, Jahan Dotson. Look, having a smaller roster like a start 4, having Justin Jefferson is significant, and you can see that here. Gav says, let's just my league not ready to go Super Bowl, so it was hard to get a package to my liking, so I had to oversell. But you undersold. That's the thing. You undersold Justin Jefferson. Do you get what I'm saying, Gavin? Like, Justin Jefferson is worth more than the 103. True, so I would have done more, but it was also my first year doing this. That's fine, and that's all right. And that's okay, because you still have your 25 first and your 26 first. Look, at the end of the day, maybe Jane Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks out there. Can he be the next Patrick Mahomes? Can he be the next Lamar Jackson? Can he be a top 10 quarterback in fantasy? And that's kind of the projection right now with his mobility. So right now it feels like a bad trade, but maybe later on it's probably not terrible. But what we're saying is that you could have just gotten more value. You could have gotten Jane Daniels and maybe another wide receiver in this class by getting the 103 and maybe like the 108. That's basically what we're saying, but I get what you're saying. So in this scenario here, which you already did your draft, there's not much I can say that you should be trying to do, because you have Jaden Daniels, 2 attacks. You do have running backs and starting running backs and Trey Benson, Devin Singletary with Zach Moss. It's just the biggest hurdle here now is the wide receiver room, because your wide receivers is Xavier Worthy, Jaden Reed are your 2 starting wide receivers in this league. If you think about it, Roman Wilson, yeah, maybe he has a role. Jahan Dotson, who I believe in, hopefully he can come back and have another role. Jermaine Burton is going to have a role. Malachi Corley. But the thing is, having Justin Jefferson there, hypothetically, could have been a game changer. And you trying to get another quarterback was probably the biggest thing. I'm just trying to think of how... And at the tight end position, you're not strong. Tucker Kraft, Kate Allen, and Eric All is definitely a tough tight end position here. And like, look, you want to compete, but some of these trades that you kind of did here probably weren't the best, right? You traded Kamara and Prescott for the 203, which probably got you Trey Benson. Now, if you look at this, imagine if you had, I minimized the whole thing. Now, if you look at it, you could have had Dak Prescott 2 attacks with Alvin Kamara and Justin Jefferson, and you could have still had Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. Like, I would have felt comfortable with that room and what that looked like. He said for sure a lot of it was because since I won last year, I didn't really care as much to get the 103. My lineup from last year was very old, so I wanted to get younger. Okay, so if you wanted to get younger, best thing I would say is like, there's people that you should be selling. I think this is still a full rebuild. I was also too impatient. That's fair. I will say this is a full rebuild. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking to sell, because you're saying like, hey, you are in full rebuild. You're in the bottom of the league according to Keep Trade Cut based off the rankings. Some of these guys can help you compete, but you don't have the depth to compete either at the wide receiver position. So what I will be doing is going full rebuild and getting capital for some of these guys in season, right? Because, and you're keeping the key players. And let's start here. And that's okay if you make some of these trades and you're probably one of the best value. We just want to be as honest as possible. We're not saying you're terrible or anything, so don't take it in that way. Just wanted to be honest and transparent with you. So these are players that you're not trading away. Tua, Daniels. Let me just put Tua tags, Daniels. I'm just going to write the whole name. Jaden Daniels, Trey Benson, Xavier Worthy. I'm not going to sell Reed. That's why I'm not going to sell Reed. And I think everyone else is up for conversation. And I think this is where you get more value. I see you have your 25 first, but you don't have your 25 second. So you must have sold that for maybe one of these players somehow, some way, maybe along the line there. Maybe you sold him last year because you just wanted to get more of a win now roster, or you felt some type of way. I'm selling all these guys at some point in time. Okay, I'm going to name it. Okay, now players. And these are players who sell in season, or maybe when their value's at a peak to sell in season. Okay. Zach Moss for any second in season. Any second. Devin Singletary. I would even say Devin Singletary plus Tracy for a second, maybe plus a third, because you got Tracy in the 4th round, I'm assuming. So you teeter up in that category, or maybe if both of these guys are doing it, like, can you get for an early second? I would do both of them in a package for an early second in 2025. 2020 early, 2025 second, for any 25 second. Let me just make sure I put that. Zach Moss for any 25 second, Devin Singletary plus Tracy for an early 25 second. Reports came out today that the Giants were hoping to get Marshawn Lloyd. That wasn't the case. They were targeting him. They ended up getting Tyrone Tracy in the 5th. And that makes me believe they're going to be looking at running backs next year as well. I'll be honest with you. Devin Singletary, I know he's in that Brian Daboll offense, but that running back class is phenomenal in 2025. I wouldn't be surprised if they get another guy. What else do you have here? Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. You're keeping Xavier Worthy there. You're keeping Tua. And look, Sam Darnold is somebody that's interesting because there's a lot of people, Darnold, that believe that Sam Darnold could be the starter going into the 2024 season. And if some reason he is winning game, let's say he is 4-2, or I don't know, 4-3, or however way it's looking, and he's progressing and he's in this Kevin O'Connell offense and winning games, can I get Sam Darnold once again for any 25 second? Because we know that the future is still JJ McCarthy. I would even say, look, if it doesn't work out, or third, any 25 second or third, whatever you can get for this guy, I'm willing to do. Maybe I'm being a bit too ambitious when it comes down to that 25 second, but I'm willing to do that. Do I want to rebuild with Jahan Dotson or sell? Jahan Dotson is interesting. Gabe Davis is another one. Gabe Davis for any late second. You know, for any second, right? Because this is a full rebuild here, Gavin. This is not a team that's going to be competing in this league for this year. Since you did win, you're trying to reset. And I wish you didn't trade Justin Jefferson for the 103, but hey, you're here now and it's done. I'm thinking if I should sell Tua. I don't think you sell Tua. I think that's fine. And this is a SuperFlex league, so you're keeping these guys here, and you're just gonna hold, and you're gonna sell these guys for some of the best value that you possibly can. Jaden Reed is still a young player. Xavier Worthy is a young player, and obviously, look, the other person that could be in contention to sell is Tua, but I'm not wanting to sell Tua. You know, like, I'm not wanting to sell Tua at all. I still believe in him. I believe in his contract extension is going to be coming here soon. He had a decent year this past year. When it comes down to fantasy points per game and his fantasy finish, so I'm okay keeping Tua now. You know, he finishes the top 10 quarterback, averaging over 16.5 fantasy points per game in a per game basis. So getting Tua there is great. I mean, look, unless you can pivot somehow to, I just don't. I'm trying to think of who you can pivot to. You're not going to pivot to a Jared Goff. That just makes your team older. You're not going to pivot to. You can't pivot to like Trevor Lawrence. I don't think you can. I don't think you can pivot to Brock Purdy. So I think it's best to just keep Tua and let him do his thing. I would say this. I would do Tua for Drake May. I think that would be interesting. I wonder what the community thinks of that on Keep Trade Cut. Drake May, Tua. That's an even trade. I'm happy to do that. I wonder what they say about Jaden Daniels and Drake May. Jaden Daniels is more. Wait, what was May? 15? Yeah, so I'm happy to do that for Drake May. That keeps you younger. 26 years old, back to 21. It kind of just resets that quarterback room. You let Drake May grow. I would say this. I don't know if I would do it straight up. I wonder if somebody out there, if Tua does get that long-term contract extension, like, can I get Tua plus something, you know? Or sorry, can I get Drake May plus something after that contract extension? You know, normally some of these guys and these quarterbacks tend to struggle in the first year, going through those growing pains. You know, can we see something along those lines? Can we see something along those lines? I don't know, right? Like, Drake May doesn't have the best year. His value fell. You're still rebuilding. Can you get Drake May and a young wide receiver? Let's see who has Drake May currently, and just see, like, look into the future a little bit. I kind of get Drake May and Jameson Williams. Maybe I'm being too ambitious there, but once again, this is a starting point. This is a starting point, and maybe that can potentially happen because he has Lamar Jackson. He can tier up in his mind to Tua, who's a proven wide receiver who now has OBJ, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle here. So, look, once again, it's a thought. Like you said, it is a thought. I'm not worried. We'll see what happens. I learned from here. I figured this year I'm going to be terrible. Just need a game plan going forward, which I figured was a full rebuild. He says, yeah, chestnut checkers, exactly. I said, I'll take that. I'll be drafted May. Yeah, I love that. I like the Tua for Drake. That's interesting. It's a thought. Yeah. So I think this is really fun. And if it's not, like, if you can't get a Jameson Williams, can you get a 25-second? Once again, it's a starting point. I personally rather get another player that I can grow with, but Drake May and a 25-second would be interesting. I don't think there's anyone here I would want to have. I don't want Etienne in this team specifically. So yeah, I will be happy with something like that. I'm trying to see what other players that you can sell here to Benson. It just depends on how quick you can turn your team around. Benson can also be a sell going into the 2025 season, but that might be difficult because of the great running backs are going to be coming. So maybe Trey Benson is somebody you sell in season, and maybe you flip that again. But at the same time, maybe I'm just overthinking it in that perspective. I'd rather you just hold Trey Benson and see how that pans out. But I'm keeping everyone else here. Let me know if you have any other questions there, Gavin. I think this is probably the best thing that you can do here. You are playing, or you're losing. You're basically tanking, and you want to get as high of a draft capital or draft pick as you possibly can. And if you're telling me that you get Drake May, and if you can get Drake May and Jane Daniels, you don't have to worry about the quarterback position, and then you start building off of the wide receivers and the running back position here, which is really going to be exciting if you can get these seconds, if you can get these packages that I put in place here for you. But yeah, please let me know if you have any other questions. This must be the most. I mean, honestly, every team is interesting. I'll be honest with you. We had a team worse than this. We had a trust me. We had terrible teams. We had really bad. You think your team's bad? We had a team probably a couple weeks ago who got an orphan team, and there was a guy that just like controlled the league. He had everyone's first round pick. He had some of the best capital, and like this guy had no quarterbacks. Like your team's better than his, and it was an orphan. I think I'm good. Helped a lot. And you use your fantasy hotline there, Gavin. You can utilize that at any time when you have any questions or when you have any trade. Here we go. I see that you got some. Oh, you're trying to show me these trades. Right, okay. I just saw this message here. Tyreek Hill, you got Kate on Jahan Dotson in the 25. So you sent Tyreek Hill first and the 25 first. Yeah, see, that's another trade. I would have kept Tyreek Hill in that 24 first. Where was that 24 first where that Tyreek Hill trade ended up being? Justin Jefferson. Oh, like did you acquire that and then you traded that away, maybe? I'll send this information to you here. There you go there, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support there, guys. Guys, if you want to be part of a team review like this, all you have to do is sign up at flockfantasy.com and use our promo code LAND. Okay, use our promo code LAND is the best way to support what we're doing here. And you know, we do this team review here. Normally Zach is with me. Obviously he's sick. If you've been with us in the chat, understanding that he won't be here for this week, but with me, I'm still grading this team, still grinding it out here. So if you have any other questions, Gavin, please let us know. But go to flockfantasy.com/land. Use the promo code LAND and select the mother flock tier. Make sure you link your account. Not only do you get team reviews, but you get our Dynasty, our rookie report, our 2024 rookie report with all of the rookies, incoming rookies of the 2024 season, our fantasy hit rate, our rankings. You get our rankings on the website as well, but you get tier rankings, you get positional rankings, and so much more. You know, personal, like I said, the fantasy hotline, personal DM with Zach and myself, where you can ask any trade questions or any other teams that you want to be reviewed or looked at over there on the fantasy hotline. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. That's it for today. Tomorrow, we do have a real rookie draft, real people, real money tomorrow. I think that's tomorrow. I think, I can double check, but I'll definitely set that event here up here soon. which is going to be exciting. And I'm trying to think of what I have in that league. I don't think I have too much great. This is more of a competing team for me, so I don't have a first round pick. But appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you drop a like on the way out, and all love.